welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a bit of an interesting one. I've been a little bit inspired lately by one of Mira Byler's videos recently where she did a sketchbook type video, and she did some like repeating patterns and stuff like that, and it obviously reminded me a lot of a thing called Zentangles. And what Zentangles are is basically like random little doodles that have like repeating patterns and shapes and stuff like that, and you fill the page and it ends up being a really cool sort of illustration. A bit of a different style to what I usually do, but I've heard that they are very relaxing to draw and very fun, and yeah, to be honest, with my experiences, I found this very fun to draw. As you can see, I have a cup of tea with me, which I am sipping throughout this drawing here, and yeah, I had a lot of fun doing these. So I originally planned to do maybe 2 or 3 of these in this video. However, I just found them so fun to draw, and I ended up making 8. Yes, 8 drawings, and I wanted to do more. However, I thought for this one video I should probably hold back a little bit because I don't want to make this video like 20 minutes long, and 8 drawings in one video is pretty crazy, so yeah. So for this first little drawing here, I decided to use a deodorant can and a cup to both draw sort of different sized circles, and then after that I used my ruler, and then I just added some nice straight lines, and then with my Copic marker I added in lots of little different repeating shapes. Now for this one here, which I am starting right now, this is probably my least favorite one. I was just sort of experimenting at the time because I've never done these before, and I wanted to sort of experiment and try something different. It didn't exactly turn out how I like. However, when you're drawing something brand new that you've never done before, expect a few little ones here that you aren't exactly a fan of. When you figure out what you like, then you end up doing something better. So with this one I thought I would do sort of different segments with water, grass, trees, clouds, and then sort of like a galaxy. But I used my mixed media paper and the pencils, and I wasn't exactly a fan of the texture on the lines here, but you know what, it was still kind of fun to draw, and it was nice experimenting with the different colors. But that's okay. I'm allowed to not be a fan of one of these drawings in these videos. So the next one was a little bit more of an experimental one. However, I'm actually very happy how this one turned out. I actually started off with a rough sketch in pencil first, and that's because I wanted to do a sort of silhouette of a cat with lots of patterns inside the cat, and I thought that was a bit of a fun and interesting way to do one of these Zentangles Doodle sort of drawings. So basically I just used my brush pen to do the outline of the cat, and then I added in some little swirly lines to sort of separate little areas inside the cat, and then with my fine liners I went in with different patterns. Now, as you can see, some of these patterns are like overlapping circles, some are like little triangles, some are like sort of spring patterns, and then of course we have a little bit of a checkered pattern and little spots and swirlies, and that scribble one in the middle there, that's probably one of my favorite ones that I did. I don't know why, I just really love it. And then here we have some patterns with like the leaves and hearts and flowers, and I just really like this one. I feel like the patterns are really nice, and yeah, it contrasts pretty well with the thick and thin lines. Now I had a very cool idea for what I wanted to do with this artwork. I actually decided that I wanted to sort of cut out the bits, cut out the sort of shape of the cat, and then I would stick it down and glue it on a piece of black paper, because I thought that it would look really cool with the sort of black background and then like the whiteness of the patterns. I thought that that would contrast really well and just make it look a little bit more interesting, and I'm actually very glad I did that because it turned out quite well, and it's one of my favorite ones in this video. I think I really do like this one. Now this next one here is actually another one of my favorites. I really did like using that black paper. However, I wanted to try and draw straight on the black paper with my colored pencils. Now I have done this in the past as a video where I drew a little tea set, but I definitely wanted to revisit it again because I really love the way those bright sort of light colors pop against the black background, and with this sort of Zentangle Doodle sort of style, I thought that it would be very effective. How it's not exactly black lines on white paper, it's sort of like light colored lines on black paper. It's almost like drawing a negative in a way, and I'm a big fan of that, and I really like how I executed it. I basically just drew some little hearts and overlapping circles and stuff like that, and then I added in some straight lines and did a lot of different patterns in this one. I did some little zigzags and some straight lines and some curvy lines, and I actually colored in some of the hearts, and I actually also left some little parts black as well, and I really like that sort of contrast where you have some parts that are really light and then some parts that are really dark, and I think that looks really, really cool. So here's how this one turned out, and I'm definitely a big fan of it. I really like how it looks, and yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. Now this one was a bit of a fun one. I actually decided I wanted to experiment with some different art supplies in this video, so I got out some of my marker paper and I used not my Copic, I actually used a Crayola marker because I do have some Crayola markers laying around and I thought I would get them out again, especially for a fun video like this. And yeah, I was about to say Copic habits. The Crayola marker actually turned out pretty good with this. It does sort of get a little bit darker as you layer up, but that wasn't a problem, and yeah, I'm actually quite happy with it. With this one, I actually decided to draw a few little sort of emoji faces, except it's like the more old style of emoji where you actually use characters to make the faces, you know, XD and that kind of thing. And then yeah, basically I added some little different patterns inside of those faces, and then I added some more patterns and sections. And yeah, I'm quite a big fan of this one as well. I really love the one where there's sort of hearts and crisscrosses and dots, and I do like the checker sort of pattern below as well. I really do like it, and these are actually really fun to do. Now this one here which I'm doing is one that is very largely inspired by Mira Byler's video. She basically did almost the exact same thing in hers. However, I did want to try it out for myself because it looked very fun and relaxing. To be honest, this was a very relaxing video to make. I just put on some music, or I put on some live streams, and I just had a lot of fun filling up the page with different patterns and shapes and colors, and yeah, just basically drew some little blobs of color. Now I tried to keep with a sort of earthy tone to reddish pink sort of color palette, and I'm quite happy with this and how it turned out. The pattern kind of reminds me of like a repeating pattern or a Christmas paper or something, so yeah, that was actually really cool to see. I'll definitely leave a link to Mira Byler's video in the description, so if you haven't seen it, please go check it out. She is an awesome artist, and yeah. So here's how this one turned out, and it is a really nice sort of simple style, and I love the colors, and I love how it turned out actually. Now I mentioned how I wanted to sort of get creative with the art supplies that I'm using, so in this one I actually decided I wanted to use some ballpoint pens, because I actually do have ballpoint pens which I bought quite a while ago, and I planned to use it for a video, and then I just never got around to using it. Do you ever do that with art supplies? I do, a lot. Anyways, so yeah, I actually decided to use these, and I used a purple ballpoint pen, which I really do like the look of. Now the lines are sort of a little bit wobbly and messy, but I tried to just embrace that and add a little bit of a sort of scribbly texture to some parts of the lines, and I actually really do like this one a lot. I basically added some simple shapes. As you can see, there is a star, a snail, a plant, and a love heart again. And then after that I added some little zigzag lines and swirly lines and stuff like that to sort of separate it into different sections. And then I added some little patterns in those sections. As you can see, there's sort of triangles, there's that sort of overlapping circle texture again. I actually added that sort of swirly weird flower kind of texture to the left of the artwork, and I actually kind of really like that. And then I also added a lot of crisscrosses and swirlies, and you can see that scribbled texture has made a comeback in this artwork again. I'm quite a fan with this one, and I'm quite happy how it turned out. And of course, purple, my favorite color. How can you go wrong with that? Now with this last one, I wanted to revisit that black paper again, and I wanted to use purple, again my favorite color. So yeah, to start off this one I actually did something different. I used my ruler to do some straight lines and sort of triangles and shapes, and try to keep it like nice and geometric looking. And then after that I added some circles, and then again I filled it up with patterns, and I really love the look of this. I think it looks really cool. I could definitely see this sort of pattern on a teacup or something like that, or even just hanging on a wall, because it's sort of like that interesting sort of almost abstract in a way, but sort of not. I don't know. I'm just a big fan of it, and I love how these look, and they're just so fun and relaxing because you don't really have to concentrate too much, and you don't have to worry about like messing up or doing the shading wrong or anything like that. You can sort of just have fun and relax while you're drawing these, and listen to some music, or even watch a TV show or something like that. And yeah, it's just something fun that you can do in the background. So anyways, yeah, I'm quite a fan of this one, and I really do like how those pencils look on that black paper. I just think it looks so nice. So yeah, this video is starting to come to a close, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. I had a blast making these. It was so fun and so interesting, and a bit of a different sort of change for me, and I actually really like that. So here are the final results of this video. My 8 drawings, yes, 8 drawings. That blows my mind. Anyways, please let me know below if you've tried making these. They are a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it if you haven't already. And thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye everyone.